Hi, welcome to How to Repair. Today I'm actually doing a review video on a Bosch washing machine because a lot of you have asked for up-to-date videos on how to repair your Bosch washing machines. So I had to do a couple of weeks research on which one to buy to make sure I could get the technical information to be able to make these videos for you over the course of the next month. Now, I have to use my own money when I buy these machines, and I used the same company as last time, as they did a cracking job with the delivery. I used Marks Electrical, and they actually gave me a little bit of discount because I'm buying multiple machines off them now. So that was beneficial to myself. Now, a few friends of mine actually own this machine, and they have said they are really happy with the wash performance and the functionality on the machine. But after doing some research, I have found some really dark hidden secrets about this machine, which you are going to see in this video. Now, this machine is a WAN28259GB. There are a few variations of this machine when it comes to the load capacity, but this video is going to show you the positive sides, especially now that Bosch are doing a 5-year parts and labour guarantee. Thumbs up, move in the right direction. But we're also going to be exposing them for some of the ways that they are going and trying to circumvent the Right to Repair Act. And in this video, when we tear down the machine, I will be explaining all this to you. Okay, first we have to unpackage the machine. Now, I'm sorry to say, I'm not actually very pleased with their packaging. When you consider this is a £500 machine, there are no supports to protect the door. You can actually hit the door straight away. The actual facial panel is not protected by any polystyrene at all. And as you would have seen in my last video, I just sliced up and sliced across when unpackaging this. I've got to be a lot more careful with this. And if I just run the knife up, and you will see some damage here on the side to the polystyrene where it might have been mishandled while delivering. But when it comes to slicing the top, I need to be careful not to put the Stanley knife into the plastic or the lid. So I am going to be a little bit more careful unpackaging this machine. There is no support at all to protect the lid, which I find quite ludicrous really when you consider the cost of this machine. Okay, I've unpackaged the machine and I've had a quick look at the literature. It does come with some free washing powder, the hose, but the manufacturer has actually only included one of the blanking covers for the transit bolts that we need to remove before actually putting this machine on test. Okay, to remove the transit bolts is straightforward. You just need to make sure you take the cable out of the way. Then you have the 4 transit bolts. And if the manufacturer had sent me the right amount of blanking plates, I would be able to cover all these holes. Just take the bolt out, slide it out. That should slide down and come out. That's the way they go. And they just clip over. But I've only got one of them, so the other 3 are going to have to stay open. That could just be a packaging mistake really in the factory, or someone was a little bit lapsed with regards making sure they put all the correct pieces in the bag. And now we're ready to put the machine up on the workbench to have a look at some of the features. Okay, having a general look around the machine, 5-year guarantee as I said. I'm really happy that manufacturers now are starting to do a full 5-year parts and labour warranty, and they tell you on here that you will only get the 5 years by registering. This normally means that you have to give them your details. This means that you might get emails in the future with regards promotions and so on, but that's the way a lot of businesses are dealing with general public today. And as I said, I don't think the quality is that bad. It just doesn't feel like the old Bosches. The old Bosches of 10-15 years ago had a type of industrial feel to them. They were well built, but the door is good. And the other feature here is the door opens all the way, which does make it easier for loading. A lot of machines will only open to that level and does make it awkward to load the clothes in. Looking at the soap drawer, and I'm quickly going to take the soap drawer out to show you. The soap drawer is well built. but there is a flap inside here, the same as the ASCO machines. This allows you to put the flap down when using liquid, which keeps the liquid in the drawer until the machine starts filling with water. On so many machines they don't have this, and when you put the liquid in, it just goes straight into the drum, and sometimes that liquid is wasted because the machine, when it first starts, may be pumping out for a few seconds before it initially goes into the program. So that's a good feature. Another feature on this, by the way, is there's two clips at the bottom. If you press these in, the soap drawer compartment will come away from the actual facial, and this means that you could chuck it in the dishwasher on a low cycle, which is quite beneficial. Putting that back in, we have also down the bottom the pump flap, easy accessible. You've got a drain down hose here, and you've also got an emergency cord if you had a problem with the machine for releasing the door to allow you access to the clothing if you had a problem with the machine. Now, let's go into the electrics. Now, there are some things that I do like about the electrics straight off, and one of the features is when it actually illuminates, apart from a nice blue colour, I would like to see it a bit brighter. It may be possible once I go through the technical manuals to increase the brightness. I don't know about that yet. But when you open the door, it actually tells you what the cycle is designed to actually take in weight capacity. But what does get me is there are only two cycles on this machine, Cottons and Eco 4060, which are designed to take a full 9 kilo load. When you go to the other programs, if I go to Easy Care, that's a 4 kilo. Delicates is only a 2 kilo. Wool, which would be a heavy item anyway, is only a 2 kilo, but that's before it actually absorbs the water. So it's 2 kilo of dry clothing. Mixed load, that should come up, 4 kilo. Rinse and spin won't have it. Drum clean is very, very useful, especially if you are washing on a lot of low temperature ranges. You end up with a lot of sludge that builds up inside the drum over the period of time. Now, I did a video going back a couple of years ago, which has been seen over 1 million times now, on how to clean inside a drum. And when you see what came out of the machine in that video, you will understand why a drum clean is so important. And what the drum clean does is a hot wash and really put a bit of extra water in and sludge it about, trying to remove any residue that's in the machine, and that is really beneficial. Then we'll go to jeans, and that is a 4 kilo. Sorry, I shouldn't have pressed the button then. Super quick is a 4 kilo. Waterproofs, I imagine that is for fabrics like waterproof jackets and stuff that is made from special materials. I'll have to read up on that. Shirts, that will be light, I imagine, 2 kilo. Hygiene Plus, whatever that is, 6.5 kilo. I imagine that's a high temperature. And Iron Assist, which I've also been told by one of my friends that she really likes, is this light freshens up the clothes in a way that it steams them slightly, so when you take them out of the machine, if you put them straight onto a hanger, it makes it much easier for her to iron the clothes rather than the clothes being left in a compact. But you do have to remember, when using this cycle, you want to take, as soon as it finishes the cycle, you want to take the clothing straight out, get it on some coat hangers, and that will allow the creases not to form in the clothing. All that very, very useful. So what I'm going to do now is load the machine, put it through a few cycles, and then come back to you maybe tomorrow to finish the video off after I've seen what the quality of washing is like. And then we're going to tear down the machine to have a look at what's in the machine and how good the build quality is. Okay, I thought I'd quickly jump back in to the video just to show you the machine going through a wash cycle. Now, I'm always answering customers' emails in the workshop, and the one thing that I noticed was the silence. I am pleasantly surprised that they have built a very quiet machine. The only noise you hear, really, is the actual clothes itself knocking about in the drum. I don't hear the motor actually turning at all, and I've got the microphone here, and if I bring this up to the machine, it is absolutely silent. And I'm going to go underneath the machine, right up by the motor, and wait till it turns, and I'll shut up the chain. That is exceedingly quiet, and I must say that is one of the quietest machines that I've had in the workshop for a long time. Now I thought I'd quickly turn the camera on for you with the microphone in my hand and come right by the door so you can actually hear the noise from this machine while it's doing a spin. Now this has got quite a few towels in the machine and we're down to about 20 minutes and it's just finished doing this spin before it starts filling again, but it is exceedingly quiet. Okay, for the last 36 hours I've done multiple different washes with this machine and I have been pleased with it. I am no expert when it comes to the performance of the wash itself, because let's face it, I'm a bloke, as long as the shirts come out clean, the jeans come out clean, I am not that fussy. I just want clean, fresh clothes. But I have to say I'm really pleased with the silence of this machine. It is really quiet. It is the quietest machine I've had in the workshop for a long time. All the plus sides that I've talked about so far have been about the wash cycle, the functionality and the silence on the machine. And I'm even giving Bosch a praise with regards starting to put 5-year guarantees on all their machines. But this is not enough. What they are doing with the Right to Repair Act and circumnavigating around the actual legislation is wrong. And when I take this machine apart in a second, you'll understand why. Okay, we've actually stripped the machine down now so we got clear accessibility to show you all the components. Now, I do like some things about this machine with regards the way they have kept the traditional design of accessibility to the machine. It is very easy to work on. The facial panel comes off, the front of the machine comes off, giving you clear access to everything at the front of the machine. There's a back panel that also comes off, and that gives you access to the belt, motor and heating system. Very simple to work on. Now I am quite pleased that Bosch have kept the original design. They've used the original type trunking that carries the wires through to the door lock and at the bottom, keeps all the wiring very neat and tidy and protected. The cost of the consumable components, which quite often go wrong, things like a hole in the door seal is quite affordable. It's only about £40 to buy. The door lock is also affordable, another common fault that can occur with the machine. The pump is another component that goes wrong. The suspension legs may need replacing. All these components are quite affordable, and there's no obsolescence built into the machine there at all. But certain components are very expensive, and I do not understand why. Not only they have the prices so high on some of these components compared to the older machines, but I really do not know why the governing bodies are not looking into the way manufacturers, and I'm not just blaming Bosch, I'm blaming a lot of manufacturers with regards to the drum construction, which I'll get to in a minute. Now the water valve, which I'll show you on the screen here, is a 3-solenoid water valve, and it is ridiculously priced. It's £130, and when you consider the old Bosch water valve, okay, it only has 2 solenoids on it, this one, but it still has the flow mechanism on the front, exactly the same type of construction. That valve you can buy for £30. Now the pleasant surprise is they are not using brush motors anymore on these machines. The old Bosch motors used to be about £250, but when they went wrong, 90% of the problems was the brushes, and they would only need replacing, and they would only cost somewhere in the region of between £15 and £30, depending on which carbon brush set was in the machine. The new motors are about £120, and I think that's quite affordable, comparing it to other manufacturers. I have no problems there whatsoever. But as every engineer will tell you, there are 2 major things that cause machines to be written off. One, if the bearings or spider goes, you would be able to replace them on the older machine. Now, the Bosch that was made 15 years ago, and I'll bring the spider up on the screen here, the spider was about £20 to £30 to replace the spider. The bearing set, which you can see on the screen here, would only cost about £25 to £35, and that would include a new seal, and you would be able to split the 2 halves of the drum to actually replace them if you wanted to. Now, a lot of people wouldn't go to that effort because it is a lot of work. But the drum on this machine is priced at £360. Now, how can they charge just under £500 for the whole machine and then charge £360 for a drum. Do you know the drum on this machine, and I have gained access through a friend to be able to understand how many models this drum is fitted to. This drum fits over 47,000 different models. Gives you an understanding of how broad this company is using that drum with regards it's fitted into thousands and thousands of machines. Why can they not sell the drum at an affordable price to allow the machine to be repaired, or go back to the old system, which was only difference between the new and the old system is 4 or 5 screws that held the two halves of the drum together. The manufacturers are all building drums that are sealed deliberately, so you go and look at the price and you go, I'm not paying that, I'm going to go and buy a new washing machine. This is obsolescence deliberately designed into the machine. And I suspect manufacturers are not only able of knowing how long those bearings are going to last, but also knowing how long the spider will last in modern day detergents. Now, as any engineer will tell you, the two major faults that can cause a machine to be written off is either a drum failure because of bearings and spider, or it is because of the electronics, and this is predominantly the main circuit board on the machine. There are 2 circuit boards on this machine. You have a display board which sends the actual information to the main circuit board. But the main circuit board has also got the controllers that control these new modern motors. And if any part of that circuit board fails, it will need replacing. They are not easy to repair, and especially on Bosch circuit boards, because they are using micro components on the circuit board which are not easy to replace at all. And this circuit board would cost you over £200 to replace. Okay, with all the information I gave you, I hope you consider buying the machine, because it is a good machine, but what I do not like is the way manufacturers are ripping you, the consumer, off with the right to repair. If you buy a machine, you have the right to repair it. Manufacturers should give you the technical information, and they should make spares affordable for you to be able to repair the machine. When you consider the drum and the PCB alone come to over the value of the machine, and that's without chucking the water valve into the equation. Anyway, all the spare parts will be on the website, apart from the drum, because I'm not going to be ripping anyone off with that extortionate price. And all the tutorials with regards diagnostic mode, how to repair the machine, will be uploaded over the course of the next month. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and if we really helped you, you can always consider donating to the website by clicking on the Buy Paul Revere page. Thanks very much indeed for watching.